بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه أما بعد. Brothers and sisters, welcome again to another episode of Deen Love. You are joined here with the team, Ali Deen, and you have Brother Idrees. And today we have a very important video to react to and cover. Multiple videos, inshallah ta'ala. So may Allah make it barakah for us in our time.
Yeah, I mean.
But before that, guys, how are you guys doing? Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
So we're just going to dive on into this. There's been this video that's been circulating on social media from TikTok, and it's a Somali sister and her mom is gained a lot of traction.
Right.
And people have been kind of talking about it. Some people are upset about
Muslim
it. Some people
sister.
are, yeah. That's right.
Emphasize the Muslim part, please.
Yeah, we got to talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of mixed emotions that's happening right now on this video. And so we are here, bi'idhnillahi ta'ala, and with Allah's permission, to clear up some of these confusion and some of the points that this sister raised with her mom. So you see she has like this setup where she's sitting with the mom and she's asking her questions, and the video's on the dashboard and it's recording. So one of the videos that went viral, you can say viral, right? Light. And that was the anti-black racism in Muslim community. And so what happens is the daughter, she asks the mother pressing questions.
Mm-hmm.
And the mom, many of the times you'll see she doesn't know what she's talking about. She probably doesn't have a good information, grounded background of these issues that the daughter is bringing up, right? So it even puts the question why even the daughter is recording these things, right? If it was clearly about education, I don't think this is the right way to do it, right? Because in some instances, this was kind of even humiliating to the mom.
Absolutely.
Right. So, but we're going to talk about this. I can't hear your voice. Say something.
Absolutely.
Okay, I can hear you. So, without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay.
I have a question for you. Are you Muslim first or are you black first? What do you think?
Muslim first and black first?
Yeah. Which one are you?
Wallahi, I'm a Muslim first.
Okay, then can I see your hand?
Yeah.
Give me your hand. What color is this? So, why are you not black first? Did you choose to be black? Did you choose to be Muslim? Yes.
I born for Muslim.
No, you can leave the Deen at any time, but you can't leave your race at any time.
لكن إلهي مغفور.
Plus, these non-black Muslim people don't like you. Let's remember that first. But
So, that's our first segment that we're going to deal with. First, she opens up by asking her mom, which one are you first? Are you black first or are you Muslim first? Right? So the mom here, she answers the way many of us will probably answer, we're Muslim first. So she says, look at your skin color. Is it black? I beg to differ. I think it's brown. Right? So it's a lot.
Technically speaking.
Right. So, but let's just, for argument's sake, let's say black. Okay, cool. Her hand is black. So she said that you can change your religion at any time, but you can't change your skin color. We're going to go to Brother Idrees. What do you think about that statement?
That's interesting. It just shows her, lack of knowledge of anything, of race issues or religious, for that matter, to corner her mom in that way. And she obviously had it planned out. Which one are you first? Are you Muslim?
Yeah.
And it's a simple answer, right? First, if let's say, for argument's sake, the mother is black, right? Or she did say I'm Muslim first and then black. If the mother is Muslim and she's black, she has the choice to choose which one she identifies as.
Right.
Where's this idea of forcing people to be one first coming from?
Which is ironic because you would think that her whole notion is
to choose.
Allow people to choose, right?
Yeah.
So people should have the rights to choose.
But that's not what she's doing. She's telling her mom to be black first.
Well, okay.
and then Muslim first because the reason was childish, because you can change your religion but you can't change your skin color. Right.
So
that's
can you change your religion?
Yeah, you can. I mean, you can choose which religion.
Of course.
Right.
You can
But
change
can
it.
you change your skin color?
Definitely.
How?
You can change your skin color too. Africa actually knows a lot about this. People in
SubhanAllah.
Africa, they bleach their skin a lot to be more whiter.
So Diana,
Mm.
we know what's going on here.
Yeah,
we
so
don't have to say
you
anything
can,
else
you
more.
can bleach your skin to be whiter and lighter. So
Yeah, and honestly, I know people who are from Africa who have different skin complexions due to even just the skin disorders, and you can be Afro-Hispanic. You can be from all parts of the world and have different skin complexions.
Right.
You just having a dark skin doesn't necessarily identify you as an African person or a black person.
Or a
so
quote-unquote black person.
yeah.
So, I think this is important. Another issue that I kind of want you guys we want to dissect is: are we Muslim first or are we black first?
I think
I'm not black.
Okay.
I mean, you know.
So you don't identify as black.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. What
Okay.
does black mean, right? Some people say people from Africa, but that's African.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Then you go into whichever country they're from, and then there's also that whole thing about, and this is agreed upon. I don't think this is controversial.
Yeah.
Historians, sociologists, they all say that race is a social construct,
Yeah.
right? The first time it was mentioned, it was like in the 1700s by a German doctor.
SubhanAllah.
First, so it's
the same Adan people
yeah.
that she wants to go against their system
Yeah.
of oppression,
Yeah.
but she's using their system.
To try, and liberals are always talking about social construct. This is a social construct. Women shouldn't be. They're always against social constructs. But when it comes to race, they'll die on.
That's a
They'll
great
die
point.
for it. You know, you can't choose which social construct to keep and which one to eliminate. You get what I'm saying?
So brother Ali Deen,
Yeah.
Are we Muslim first?
So what I would like to say is quoting the Prophet ﷺ in his hadith, where he says that all human beings are born Muslim.
On the fitrah, yep.
It is their parents and their environment that change them from Islam. So there's an issue here when the sister is trying to clash race or skin color with religion.
SubhanAllah.
I don't think you would ever get something something good to come out of that. I've never heard, this is my first time hearing someone say I'm black or I'm this skin color before I am the religion I follow, the religion of Islam or any other religion to begin with. So her issue right here is that she's trying to pin two things that do not correlate when it comes to existence. And unfortunately, she was using her mom. And if you just look at the way she's speaking to her mom, is many of the things are yes or no questions, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like a prosecutor who's trying to prosecute a situation or a person.
Yeah.
So all she wants her mom to do is to say no, and then she attacks her mom. And then she gives her response and then moves on to her next
There you
point,
go.
which is a problem.
It's like a machine gun tactic. And
Yeah.
I know this tactic very well because people who hate me always do stuff like this. But it's not us that they hate.
Right.
It's the message that we're bringing. And, we ask Allah to make it easy for us. Guide.
I mean,
all those
it's also kind of it's laughable. So it's like different situations bring about different circumstances. So, for instance, I'm a father, right? I'm also a husband at the same time.
Yeah.
Which one am I first?
And,
You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Just because you're two things at one time, you can choose which one you're. It doesn't have to be just because like I can't change the fact that I'm a father now.
Yeah.
But I could be a deadbeat dad.
So
You get what I'm saying?
So then, did Allah anoint us with Islam and submission to Him
Yes.
before
Yeah.
He made our races and our tribes?
Before, Allah Azza wa Jal took a covenant with mankind,
Okay.
where He said,
And this is in the Quran.
in the Quran.
So this is not something we're making up out of our pockets.
Wait, we're not
This is
making
in the
anything
Quran.
up here?
No, we're not.
Really?
I thought we
Okay.
were picking and
This-
choosing for a
Okay,
second, right?
yeah, I
This
was
is-
No
making
cherry,
sure.
no cherry picking.
Allah
I
Azza
love
wa Jal-
cherries, but wallahi, we're not cherry picking.
Allah Azza wa Jal took a covenant with mankind and said that, will you worship me as your one true Lord, which is Islam, to
no.
submit.
Subhanallah.
They said we accept.
Bala wa shahidna.
Yeah, we accept. Right. This is before you had a name. This is before you had a skin color. This is before
Yeah.
you had a race.
You were
This is
just a
before I was
soul.
Somali. You were just a soul
Ruh.
in a different world.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
Right. And so we could get to the technical things,
Mhm.
right? And hopefully people accept
Yeah.
these issues that
Yeah.
Islam comes first, via evidence of the Quran and the Sunnah,
Mhm.
in a spiritual sense,
Yeah.
and also inshallah ta'ala we'll get to the other ideas.
Let's
As we
do
go
that.
on,
Let's,
yeah.
let's watch a little bit more and see what more she has to say.
Skin, they don't like you.
يا إلهي.
Yes, they will try to support you because you're Muslim, but when it comes to racial issues, they will not stand up for you. That's why you have to put your black people first, always. Because
So I just want to stop here because this is a common thing that's being spread around with, especially, I find youth from the African diaspora, diasporic African youth, if that's even a term. That means that children that are born here, but their parents ethnically they're from somewhere else, right? So they moved here and they had children and they were born here, right? Kids that are born here usually have like this extreme outlook on race, and they have this extreme sort of negative outlook on any other Muslim from different races, because I feel like they're looking through the lens of the racial system of this country to determine everything else. Like that's their worldview. They look at Islam that way. They look through this lens about Islam, about their family, about the community, about everything. So it's not that I'm going to use like why was I created? Because Allah wants me to worship Him.
Yeah.
It's like we're going to put that to the side, and we're going to see later on how she puts that to the
She
side.
blatantly lied though. She said that the Muslim community supports each other with when it comes to Islamic problems, but when it comes to
not with
black
their race.
issues, which is a lie.
That's not true.
Muslims generally feel for African Americans in the
Absolutely.
struggle, and we respect it.
Absolutely.
One of the biggest African American heroes is a Muslim by the name of Malcolm X.
Yeah.
And so we know that Islam actually and African American they go way back. There were many Muslims who came or who were enslaved
From there.
and their religion was Islam.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's very much for her to try to separate and act like the Muslim community hates on the African American struggle.
Right.
It's a blatant lie. Right? We support the African American struggle. Now somebody might not support protesting. That's their opinion.
Right.
That's what they.
I mean, if we're gonna keep it a buck here, I remember before George Floyd, Somalis weren't stepping foot in the area where she was killed. Chicago,
Yeah.
that 38th Street, they weren't coming through, Chicago Avenue. What I mean by they weren't coming through is they weren't coming through to help, to assist, to show a hand of solidarity only after he was killed, right? So if we're going to play this game of, other people don't care about our struggles,
You don't.
you don't care.
Yeah. Let's be
Like we
realistic.
don't care as a community, right? But in terms of people helping out Somali and people helping out different countries, Muslims generally come together, and we do send a lot of money back. Yemen, Syria, and we go and we help each other out. So I mean, to one aspect, I see what she's saying, but it's not exclusive to black people. Like it's not like all of the other ethnic, the Desis and the Arabs came together, and the Eastern Europeans came together and said, "Hey, we're just gonna pick on the blacks, and then we're gonna just demolish." That's not what's going on, right?
Yeah, hold on. The other thing she pointed out, I don't know if you guys heard her, was she told her mom that the non-black Islamic community hates you or don't like you.
They don't like you.
They don't like you.
Astaghfirullah.
So she's generalizing everyone who's not black but is Muslim as someone who doesn't like people of this skin color.
Yeah.
Now, me personally, I don't know anyone who actually hates me because of my skin color. I've never met someone, a Muslim in particular,
right.
So I don't know why she's generalizing, and then maybe this whole depiction that if you're not, a black Muslim, then you're, I don't know, Arab or something like that. Well, I'm here to say, and let me just correct this point, is that not all Arabs are Muslim, and not all Muslims are Arabs.
Facts.
In fact,
Desis
only
as well, and Indians as well.
the fact is that there's less than 18% of Arabs are Muslim. Okay, So whatever she's saying is this general notion that racism in Islam is from Arabs, and that they rule, majority rule, and they all these things, and we're the minority, and we're going through these struggles, and which is not the case, unfortunately. And it's another unfortunate thing that she's having this conversation with her mom, who's showing signs of that she's a miskin person or just a nice person.
She doesn't understand, really.
Yeah, and she's just being just real nice with her daughter. But if she's having this conversation with someone who has knowledge, who understands the Deen correctly, then this conversation would go a totally different way. So yeah.
I think you mentioned a good point, because the fact that there's less than 15% of Arabs are Muslims.
Yeah.
Then if you want to blame the Arabs for bad treatment with other Africans or black people, then those Arabs will most likely be non-Muslim.
Yeah.
Statistically, if we're going to play that, they would most likely be non-Muslims.
Yeah.
So notice too, there's a psychological something is going on here with the sister, because she always refers to the outside groups as Muslims, but for her, she refers to herself as black.
Oh, yeah,
The Muslims are doing this, but we black people are doing this. The Muslims are doing this. So now you got to ask yourself, where does one's allegiance and loyalty truly lie?
Yeah.
Is it with Allah's messenger, or is it with your nationality? Now somebody may ask what's wrong with your nationality. Jubair ibn Mut'im, we got the hadith that came in. Sunan Abi Dawood, he mentions that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he says, "Laysa minna an da'a ila asabiyah, wa laysa minna man qatala ala asabiyah, wa laysa minna man mata ala asabiyah." The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said that he is not from us the one who calls to nationalism and tribalism and colorism, right? Because asabiyah can mean all those things. He is not from us the one who fights for those things, the one who advocates for those things, the one who protests for those things, right? And I'm using protest in a loose term here, right? I'm not talking about going out on the street. I'm talking about going and trying to
push your skin forward or something like
propagate
that.
all this, right? And he's not from us the one who dies on this, right? So if you die on this, then the Prophet ﷺ, he says in another narration that you die on the death of Jahiliyyah, right? So we're gonna play this a little bit more and see what the sister has to say.
End of the day, you black first. Yes. I'm always feeling like black people first. I'm sorry, Muslim community. I'm sorry, Muslim community.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Muslim community. I'm always for my black community. So now would it be safe to say that the sister is not Muslim? Because she's making a distinction here, black and Muslim.
So what did she say? That she'll push black before she pushes.
Yeah. She said, "I'm sorry, Muslims. I have to push my black community first."
Okay. So if they turn against each other, she's basically saying,
that's
this is not going to happen, but she's basically saying that I'm with the blacks.
That's it.
Over Islam.
That's really what I mean. I don't know which other way to interpret that. I know somebody you're taking that out of context. It's there. Watch the video. Okay, we're gonna keep it playing.
But my black people come first, and that's fine. I'm sorry. Yeah, I asked you. Yeah. When people ask me, what are you? I don't answer Muslim first. I say, yeah, I'm black. And I don't like when, because you know why I'm asking you this question? Because
pause there real quick. First of all, who's going around asking people, what are you?
Yeah.
Like,
where does that conversation stem from? Yeah.
People see that you're black. You're not. You don't look half Asian, half.
That's actually a really great point.
Like if you who? Let's be realistic. Who has ever asked a sister?
That's actually a really really good point, because if you're saying like your skin color is so visible and everybody can just
see it. Who's
see
going
it,
around asking
why
you?
would somebody ask you what
What are
color
you?
your eyes are?
Who
if
are you?
you can
Are you-
see your eyes clearly.
Uthman, like, I don't know, like, I'm kind of confused. Are you black first or Muslim? I just can't tell.
Nobody-
I don't know.
One is sticking out more than the other. Just
might
let me
be
know.
both.
So I mean, I get people that are mixed. You
can
know,
be both.
I
don't know, bro.
You can ask people who are
SubhanAllah.
mixed and like of different ethnicities.
Mhm.
You know, what are you? You know,
Right.
We can clearly see you're a Somali. Like people be like, yeah, that's a Somali.
Yeah.
As an East African.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever gonna confuse. So I think she's living in this false reality.
Yeah.
You know, she's imagining things. People might be coming up to her during the day. She's imagining. Nobody's ever gonna come up to you. Nobody's ever asked me, what am I?
Mm-hmm.
right? If they want to know my religion, they'll probably ask me, what religion do you practice? But in terms of my race, the social construct that people made, everybody can see we're black here. A white person would label all of us black here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a system that we live in.
Yeah.
There was actually this African American scholar who said that. He said that we're only black when we come to America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Outside of America, you go to any other country, you ask the Nigerians, where are you from? What are you? You say,
Nigerian.
I'm Fulani.
Yeah.
I'm Hausa. Not even Nigerian.
Yeah.
He'll
You
say,
go,
"I'm
you go
Hausa." He'll
more
go
in
to the
depth.
tribe.
Yeah.
Right? You say, I'm Hausa. I'm Fulani. I'm Dinka. Right? I'm from these tribes.
Good point.
So it's like you're only black. And then in extension, some of the UK countries as well. But we could say the West. Right, but America specifically, because we came up with these, the white people came up with these code system, and then we're just playing along with it, right?
So, Idrees, for example, why do you think, I'm going to ask you, why do you think that they're identified as black people, or we're identified as black people in America as opposed to anywhere else?
This is a historical thing, though. This is why white supremacy and the KKK, they were successful because they grouped everyone that was, because at one point, if you were 1/5 black, you were considered. You weren't considered. You could sit at the front of the bus.
One drop rule.
So it was like every 10 years they were changing what it meant to be black.
Yeah.
White people were changing what it meant to be black. This sister today, she has the definition, the 2021 definition of what white people consider black. That's what she's going with.
Exactly.
In 10 years, if they change it back, she has to accept it.
She has to accept it.
Right.
Yeah, I see.
So I think there's nothing that is more. Colonizing when the person that you hate, who's outside of you, your oppressor, is deciding what you are, and then you're just accepting it.
Yeah, and she thinks that she's going against the oppressor. You're literally the person, whoever you consider your oppressor, is what.
And then what you see is that she's not even opposing white people or this patriarchal white dominant society. She's actually attacking Muslims many times that you see what she's doing.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, they have a term for this, uncle, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to say it here. But this is what it seems like here, because every time she just keeps coming after her. Okay, now let's listen.
I forgot what protest it was for, but I posted on my Snapchat, and me and this Indian guy, I don't remember what part of India he was from. He might be Indian or he might be Pakistani. I don't know. I forgot, to be honest. But I posted the protest, and we were
Pause it
arguing
right there one
about
time.
it, and he was more focused.
She's arguing with a guy who's Indian. What's his race? Because Indian is an ethnicity. How come she identified this man with his ethnicity and not his race?
Here we go.
Is black and white the only two races on the planet?
That's actually another great point. Is black and white ethnicity, or is it a race?
She says it's a race. Black is a race, and white is a race.
Okay, so then that means that you can be either or. You have to be either or, though, right?
Yeah.
You can't be nothing in the middle.
So what's Indian? Indians are not black. You're not going to tell me Indians are black. They're not from Africa.
So are they white?
They're not white. They're not from the mountains of Caucasus.
What are they then?
What are they?
Yeah. What are they?
They're Indians.
Whoa.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She, in her own words, I was arguing with an Indian guy. Why don't you tell us the race?
Yeah.
And Indian is it's an ethnicity.
Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi
What race are
raji'un.
Indians?
Subhanallah al-azim.
Right?
Yeah.
Rabbil arsh
Competent.
al-azim. Salamun qawlun min rabbil rahim.
On the destruction of property than the person who lost their life. He was like, oh, why are these people protesting? You guys are going to ruin our city. Da, da, da. And I was like, you know what? Buildings and companies can be rebuilt, but this person will never get their life back. So stop focusing on the wrong issue, right? And then this man continued to argue with me and be like, well, you're so focused on black issues. You're Muslim first. Have faith in Allah first. And I said,
Pause it
no,
right there.
I'm black first, I'm
Another
not Muslim first.
Another very childish. She said buildings can be rebuilt, people can't be brought back to life. So why would you burn a building down if the person can't come back to life? What do you benefit from that?
Yeah.
Right? There's a right way to go about it.
Yeah.
That you can protest all you want.
You can burn your house
But
down.
how's that gonna bring the person back? Right? Literally, that's what we tell people. We say, hey, you doing all this crazy stuff is not gonna bring the person back.
Actually, and to just be have some transparency. I was actually there on the ground. Me and Sheikh Hassan Jami were there.
On ground zero.
I think only the only two, the only imam that I think that was actually there in the protest on 37th. I think like a week after what happened to George Floyd, and he was giving them, condolences and to that community. So one thing that a African American pastor said when he got up after speaking after we spoke, he was telling them the protesters as well, the people of that community, do not destroy your community.
Yeah.
Don't let these outsiders come into our city and rile you up and destroy something that later on they're going to go back home and sleep into their nice pillows and beds where you have none.
And the community denied it. They said we weren't destroying the community.
Actually,
It was
and you know
outsiders.
what? That's what they told.
Exactly.
They said that it's not us.
Exactly.
It wasn't even the people in the daytime. It was people that are coming at nighttime.
Yeah.
Well,
so
coming from other states and other
states.
places, man.
Yeah.
That's
So you
that's
had
the
some
crazy
Adan
part.
people and you had some
Yeah.
even Somali people,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
That made it front page news, walking out of Target
Yeah.
with clothes, hijabis and
Come on now, come on. Hey.
So let's go.
Let's keep going.
And I blocked him. I blocked him. So they're gonna be mad. And I don't like when people. Let me finish. I don't like when people ask me those questions because I'm always say I'm black first. And whenever anybody asks me what I am, I'm gonna say black first. Yes, I'm Muslim, but look at the color of my skin. I'm black and I'm proud. Go ahead. I'm sorry. This makes me mad.
maqal hadda ilaahay qafuur raxiim qof walba markuu uumaayay waxaa jira wax lagu abuuray oo ilaahay inuu jiro og yahay
Yeah.
ama muslim ahoo ama christian ahoo belief waxa la dhahaa jiro inkastoo aan diinta saas u aqoon ilaahay qafuur raxiim qof walba inuu ilaahay jiro wuu aaminsan yahay muslinaad tahay farasti
Markaa diidin, but
laakiin markaa idhahdo oh okay what race you first markaa idhahdo it's different question
no, people try to pin the Muslim community against the black community. Honestly, I'm really tired of it. The Muslim community is so anti-black and it's ridiculous.
So she's
people
not.
are trying to pin the Muslim community against the black community. That
She's
is
trying to.
literally what
She's trying to
what
pin
you're
it.
doing.
Not. I don't. Bro, listen. I don't know anyone. I don't. And I'm being honest. Like I'm in the community. I'm there. There may be issues where people clash, but not for the reason that she's saying. And it's like. It's unethical, or you can. It's just un-Islamic for you to say, "Oh, Muslims and Islam is trying to pin people of different skin colors against each other," and we don't talk about that as
But
much.
That doesn't even make sense.
That's
though.
what I'm saying.
Islam is a religion of many different races, and you have black, which is just supposed one
Yeah.
race. Is she telling me the entire the Asian community, Muslim community, the Desis, the Arabs, everyone is against the black community? That doesn't make any sense. I mean, Islam versus Christianity makes sense. It's two religions.
Yeah.
A religion has never ever won against a race
Yeah.
because that religion has that race in it.
Sorry.
If that makes sense.
Here's the thing, and maybe she doesn't understand this, but right now, any one of us in this room can go to a different country where there's people who do not look like us, but identify and say we are Muslims. You can go in there and pray salat with them. You can fast with them. You can do all things that are Islamic based with them, and they'll accept you and invite you. But she's making it seem like if I go somewhere else and I'm the only person in skin color, I feel threatened because I'm a different skin color, so they're gonna attack me. Even though we're both Muslims, I'm gonna be attacked. That is her logic right there.
And I think even if somebody is that way to you, I mean, doesn't the Deen teach us al-Muslim akhul Muslim? The Muslim's
Come
a
on
brother to
now.
another Muslim, right? You have to give Muslims their huquq, their rights, because they have rights over you. It doesn't matter how they are towards you. Allah will deal with them, right? But when you start saying, well, they're like this, and they're, even if we accept that argument, they're like this, that's why I'm going to react this way. Don't you believe that you're going to be raised in front of Allah Azza wa Jal, and He's going to ask you, why did you do this? And you're going to say, oh, well, they were being mean to me. That's why I disobeyed you, Allah. You think is that going to fly?
So the sister, she used she's cherry picking with her. You know, she's obviously painting all Muslims with this. You know, people that commented on her social media,
Right.
whether it's Snapchat or whatnot, saying that see these Muslims, they hate on. I could say the same thing. I could say the opposite about how we Muslims actually have a very good relationship with African Americans.
Yeah.
And how much they respect us for
Yeah.
holding on to our deals. I have you
Come
know.
on, yeah.
We have so much love for African Americans who, you know, who are in our community. I mean, some Muslims and even some non-Muslims,
Absolutely.
right? We play basketball with them, we work with them, and all these things, and we have a very good relationship. So for her to lie like this is very sad.
And that's not to say that there are not issues. There may be problems, 100%. Right, every community has problems, but to refer everything that's an issue as racism, I think that's a little shallow, right? A lot of the issues can come up.
One last thing I want to say about that point is just her logic. You know, I know everyone is puzzled about this because this is, as a majority, I believe we're all on the same page, and we believe what she's saying doesn't make any sense. And based on her logic, is this physical appearance comes before everything because this is what you see first. And just speaking on that, she's basically saying, whatever you see comes first, meaning if I'm tall, then I identify as a tall person before I identify as a Muslim.
Yeah.
Is that not what she's saying?
That's really
If I'm short, then I identify. If I'm a woman, I identify as a woman first. If I'm a male, I identify as a male before I identify myself as a Muslim.
Yeah.
And imagine just people going around saying that, oh yeah, I am Muslim, but I'm a bearded person first, or I have a lot of money in my bank account, then I'm a Muslim second. So I just want you to think about that before you say things like that.
So we can watch that whole video, but you guys can watch it yourselves if you guys want. We're going to move on to, she made a clarification video clarifying why she believed in some of those things, because there were some of us were kind of like, oh, I don't know, she's probably trolling. Turns out she's not. Listen to what she says.
Point of my most recent video was to show how anti-black the Muslim community is, which you guys proved my point within those comments, because not only did non-black people try to tell me to put my race aside and to only identify with my religion, but also my own people told me to do that, which blew my mind, because then they came to the conclusion that they are not black, even though they originated from
Black land, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. It's a nice little city out there.
Let's listen to what she actually says where we originated from.
Right? She changes it.
It's very quick.
Let's listen to this.
Africa.
Oh.
East Africa. No logic. And then these so-called good Muslims decided that they would try to bash me on social media by sharing my content, flipping and putting words into my mouth that I've never said, and then also to try to tell me to leave the Deen, harm myself, and so much more. Just so much disrespect. When I, never disrespected Islam, never disrespected black people, and never disrespected Somali people. I just tried to show how anti-black this community was, and you guys proved point to the T. Not only did you guys prove the point, but you showed how racism can be internalized, because how can you originate from Africa, East Africa, and think that you are not black? That's your race. Somali is an ethnicity. There's a big difference between the two.
What was that Indian guy from the last video? Was
he? I don't know.
Yeah. Was he right? I don't know what his race was. I forgot.
He didn't get a color.
He didn't get a color.
You got where he's from.
He got his ethnicity.
India.
So she's educating us on the difference between race and ethnicity now. So she's saying ethnicity
is where you're from.
Is where you're from. And then race is
where you're from.
Mm-hmm.
Since you're from Africa, you're black.
She said East Africa, to be exact.
You're East African.
We don't know West Africans, and we're not speaking for them. We're speaking for East Africans. So a couple of things there. She says she's not disrespecting the Muslim community. She's not disrespecting Islam. She's not disrespecting black people, I think.
She said they're black because they're from Africa. They originate from Africa. Tunisia is a country in Africa. Those are Arabs.
You could make the argument that the Arabs came from, but I mean, everybody originated from Africa, sister. That doesn't make them black. I mean, there's white people in Cape Town, South Africa.
Absolutely,
been there for generations.
Yeah.
Are they now black? Literally white people born there, right? They've been there for probably 3-4 generations now, 5 generations. So to say that, the people who originated from Africa. Right.
That'd be interesting. That'd be real interesting. Like a South African white person comes to America, and what is he going to say? I'm black.
It's like people are like, hey, where are you from? I'm from South Africa.
Elon Musk.
I'm from
Elon
South Africa.
Right? Elon Musk.
They have their little accent. I don't know what I did there. Okay.
I lived. I actually lived there for a little while. For like 9 months.
Africa.
Yeah, I was in Cape Town. Yeah, so I've seen white people. Man.
Yeah, and they've been there for a minute.
Yeah, lived there for a long time.
Now, when I say there was no apartheid, or when I say there was no racism, what we're saying is that there are people from the continent of Africa who live there, grew up there, have generational lines that are not what you would consider black. So now we're again using a social construct and trying to impose it upon our people who came to this country 30 years ago
Mm-hmm.
and didn't know anything about this black, white, brown, yellow, purple, and all we knew was our nationality, right? And we knew, or ethnicity, you could say, and we knew our tribes and our customs and our heritage. We didn't know anything else. We knew our Deen. We didn't know anything else about this. We came here, then we're now being taught this. So now here's a question, because where did you learn this from? Because if your grandfather, your mother didn't know anything about this, but now you know about it, then is it safe to say that the same white person you hate taught you this? So then is it safe to say that this construct that you're picking out is a social construct made by white people themselves? And you're trying to impose it upon who? Your own people. I don't know anything that's more self-hate than that.
Yeah.
And that's what I love Malcolm X, Malik al-Shabazz, rahimahullah ta'ala, al-Hajj al-Malik al-Shabazz, rahimahullah ta'ala. He said, who taught you to hate yourself? Who taught you to hate yourself? Right? So this is something that he's trying to instill within you. Hey, you have an identity. He's talking to his African American. You have an identity that was pre-slavery. That was something to be proud of, something that you can accept, something you can embrace, something that you can, hold your head up high on. Only for now to turn that all in for a color in the Crayola box? Is this what you reduced our people to? This is all we are? Wallahi, we really need to consider these arguments. Anybody who's coming with these sort of things, right? Now, if you want to identify as black, go ahead. Identify as purple, pink, I don't care, right? But when you say that identity is more important than Islam, then that shows where your loyalty lies. And that's what the Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِي مَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا فِي أَنفُسِهِمْ حَرَجًا مِمَّا قَضَيْتَ وَيُسَلِّمُوا تَسْلِيمًا. The Prophet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said that they will not believe unless they submit 100% to your rule, Ya Rasulullah, O Messenger of Allah. He's talking to the Prophet ﷺ. And he said they must submit with no hesitation. That means that you're not going to anything else. But I'm this too, I'm that. No. You're Muslim. Islam is your way of life, right? You're going to submit to this or not submit to it at all. It's 100% or is no percentage at all. You can't flip this half and half thing. And then imagine this. We'll also advise our sister with this. Are you ready, prepared to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with this argument? Are you prepared to stand in front of Allah Azza wa Jal? Now, let's continue, guys.
Second of all, I don't understand how you guys can try to tell people to leave the Deen. When did you become God? When did people try to seek validation from you? Does not make sense. If you can tell people to leave and come from the Deen, who are you? Are you God? Are you a prophet? Like, what sense does that even make? Second of all, if you're a good Muslim, why are you trying to bash somebody?
Okay.
Aren't you supposed to privately tell somebody that something is wrong?
Okay.
Why are you going to take somebody's content and then try to publicly bash them? Not only are you trying to bash me for one video, you're taking multiple of my videos and trying to bash me for my perspective and how I dress. How does the way I dress correlate with who I am and my values?
Pause it right there.
Who said that you have to be modest to be a good Muslim or to be Muslim in general? It is my body. I can choose what I want to wear. Did you give me the clothes?
Okay, let's do
the sister.
I think that's enough.
The sister has a good point in that bashing other Muslims
in public.
Tell them leave Islam.
Just in general,
humiliating
bashing, them, cursing them, stuff like that. That's not a good thing.
All right.
And she should understand that people are doing that out of anger.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a personal thing.
Yeah.
But it's absolutely wrong.
Yeah.
You should never do that. That's not how a Muslim should carry themselves. you know, instead of telling, if you have proof and evidence to why she's wrong, send that to her.
Yeah.
You know, comment that. But the cursing and this and that, we're better than that as Muslims.
Right.
So she has a point there. She mentioned that, you know, why do I have to be modest in order to be a good Muslim? This is a very dangerous statement.
Yeah, she said that. I think just because the way I dress doesn't indicate
that I'm not a good Muslim.
Good Muslim.
It's very dangerous. This is one of the beliefs of the Murji'ah. Right, to separate action from iman.
Faith.
You know, Islam stands on three things: the statement, La ilaha illallah, the actions, the belief in the heart, and the actions.
Yeah.
You can't.
Those are the three parts of iman.
That's the three parts of iman. She's saying actions don't matter. How I dress doesn't matter.
So then we kind of fall into like a Christianity faith.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Jesus died for our sins, kind of a thing.
Can you touch on that?
Yeah, of course. Just how Brother Idrees was mentioned, faith and action have to go hand in hand together, right? One cannot exist without the other, and then say, "Oh, I'm a good Muslim. I'm a great Muslim." If you choose the faith side, which is kind of the Christianity side, where you know Jesus, Isa alayhi salam, has died for our sins, is what you're saying. So we can do whatever we want to do, but as long as we believe, He's taking the rap for us. So we can do whatever we want to do, and we'll be forgiven. And then you have the other side where a lot of atheists kind of push, which is we do a lot of good things. We help a lot of people. We're good people, but we don't believe in Allah, right? So why do we have to be punished? But we're good people.
Yeah.
We just don't believe in Allah, but we're good people.
Yeah.
So if when one is missing, you either choose one, that side or the other. You can't choose both. So you have to have both to exist to be a Muslim. And unfortunately, in her case, this is a lot for a lot of young Muslims who think like this as well, who say, you know, Allah is the only one that can judge me, and I can't see myself. You can't tell me what to do. Or you're not God, just like as she mentioned, and it's really setting themselves up for a big failure. It's a huge mistake that they're making.
Yeah, well, because when you say only God and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala is the only one that can judge me, He did judge.
Correct.
And His judgment is that you wear the hijab for Him.
Yeah.
Right. Don't wear it for anybody else. Not your uncle. Not your father. Don't wear it for me. Wear it for Allah Azza wa Jalla.
Right.
Right. And can we say that a woman who's not wearing the hijab is less or pious than a woman who is wearing the hijab? Generally, yes, we can, because the one who obeys Allah, and Allah Subhanahu wa Taala says this in the Quran. He says the one who does good is not like the one who doesn't do good. They're not the same. La yastawi. They're not the same. Sayyiati wa hasana. He said they're not the same thing. The one who does good things and the one who does bad things is not. So the one who obeys Allah, is he like the one who doesn't obey Allah? I'm not saying this. Allah is saying this. We're going to put these references up on the screen here. But I mean, this is clear at this point when we say Allah is judging, and even in the New Testament, Paul says faith without works is dead. Right? So this kind of goes into the whole cherry picking thing. What's clear is, let's play a little bit more, because she has some part that I kind of want to talk about her.
No. Are you God? No. Do you make the decision of if I'm going to heaven or hell? No. Do you help me with anything? No. So why do you feel like you have to police not only my body, but my mouth? I am black at the end of the day. I'm a black Muslim woman in that order, and I said what I said, and I meant what I said. So take it as it is and move on.
Okay. When somebody says they're Muslim, what's clear here is that means that you are submitting to Allah Azza wa Jalla. You cannot tell me that you're disobeying Allah and then you're obeying Him at the same time. If Muslim means the one who submits their will 100% completely to Allah, you cannot be an unsubmitting submitter. What is going on here?
That makes no sense.
And the sister constantly, she was talking about logic. And I think that's what's missing in all of her arguments, is logic, right? Like, wallahi, we're not saying this to degrade the sister. I mean, but just look at just the discussion that we had, how we just kind of broke down just some of the stuff that she said.
Right. You know, I want to make a good point.
Closing arguments.
So,
inshallah,
she basically said, if you disagree with her, if you're a Muslim person and you disagree with her, you're a racist, and you're racist towards black people. That means us, anyone who's against her on social media, her mother. We're all racist is basically what she's saying. She's basically put us in a category and generalized us in that fashion. And the other thing that she doesn't understand, and you'll hear this in the black community especially, is that there's a saying where not all kinfolks are skin folks.
There you go.
Right?
Or
so
not all skin folk are kinfolk.
Yeah, there you go. That one. So what you see here is that she's identifying with a certain group, but trying to, I guess, put us against each other.
Yeah.
Right? That's the message I'm getting from this. Who said we cannot be a Muslim person, identify as who we are, our ethnicity, whatever it can be, so long as it's on the right path or it's not against Islam? I'm just confused. I'm very confused about this whole thing.
There's a very simple answer to this, in that ethnicities, race, all these things, whatever you want to call it, they were created for us to know one another.
Exactly.
إنا خلقناكم من ذكر وأنثى وجعلناكم شعوبا وقبائل لتعارفوا إن أكرمكم عند الله أتقاكم. Right.
To know one another.
To know, لتعارفوا.
Just to know one another.
But he says the best amongst you are those who have taqwa.
Taqwa.
Not the best who have the glowing, melanated skin. The one who has the best taqwa. You cannot be the best taqwa if you're not obeying Allah. You can't. And if Allah told you to do something clearly as a Muslim woman, or he told us to do something clearly as Muslim men, then we must do it. He said, enjoy the good, forbid the evil. That's something that, inshallah ta'ala, we ask Allah to accept from us, that we're doing right now. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to guide all of us. And one thing I want you to touch on, Brother Idrees, is what does this also mean when it comes to respecting the parents? What did you learn from the video? Would you touch on that for a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I think all parents are different in how they raise their kids, but as is not acceptable.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about in terms of respecting your parents, cutting your parents off, telling your parents to wait, let me finish first. These are, in this society, of course, we think this is normal.
This is okay.
But this is a huge sin.
SubhanAllah.
It's very disrespectful. Even if the mother doesn't say, Allah Azza wa Jal writes that down.
Yeah.
Even if the mother thinks it's okay and whatnot, to disrespect the parents. And
that's true.
And so we need to change our whole. But one thing I wanted to say was this sister, she identifies as black for one reason, because for her that's her biggest. That's the
struggle.
The struggle. The most struggle that she faced in her life is because of her skin color.
Correct.
Okay. One would argue women also have as much struggles as
challenges, right?
Yeah. So and she identifies as a woman second.
Oh, okay, wow.
So I'm wondering, did she like sit somewhere and count all the struggles, black struggles and women's struggles?
I think you said black Muslim woman.
She said black. I'm a black woman, black Muslim woman.
I think Muslim woman.
Yeah, she said black Muslim woman.
Right.
Yeah.
So if the reason why you identify as black is because of the struggle, you definitely struggle as a woman more than you do as a Muslim. Right. So why didn't you put that before the Islam? Right, so if your identity is based off of your struggles, I think that's very illogical. And
one thing too that's scary about what she said is that I visibly don't look like a Muslim. That's not a good thing to say. Wallahi, she looked at the camera. I was shocked when she said this.
She said most of the time
she said I visibly don't look like a Muslim, but I visibly look like a black woman. As a Muslim woman, you should look like a Muslim. Like, I shouldn't have any doubt when I see a Muslim woman that you're a Muslim woman. Right. This is like the code.
Is that not self-hate? If you claim to be a Muslim and you're not looking like a Muslim,
looking like it. Maybe.
What about a blind person? What do you look like to a blind person? Your skin color. Can they tell apart?
Wow.
Just saying, your character should tell you something else as well. I just want to add that.
This is so all this here, when you bring it into account, you find that there's a lot of confusion. And like we mentioned, this is not about the sister. We don't have any vendetta against her. We don't even know who she is, right? It's not working. We're not coming after her and her mom.
It's the ideology.
It's the ideology, and many individuals in our society share this. Muslims, youth, they share this today. And these are things that we want to unpack for them. And this podcast, even if you don't agree with us, this should be thought-provoking for you.
Correct.
This should make, if you're sincere, if you're truly sincere with yourself, you will say, you know what? they have a point in some areas, right? There must be something here, right? But if you're just like, she's right 100%, then, Allah is, in Allah yahkumu baynana, right? Allah will judge between us. Right. So,
also one thing I want to close with is the diaspora that you mentioned that came to this country. Their parents came to this country. They're either raised or born here. They grew up a very comfortable life. I want people to know this. Whether you're African American, white, or black, whatever you may be, people who came to this country as immigrants, they came on the Delta Boeing 777. They didn't come on slave ships.
Come on.
No.
Right. They came and
as a choice.
As a choice. They had apartments ready. They had EBT every month. They had some of them, majority of them had family here who were already established, who had good credit, could buy them a car and whatnot, all this stuff. So for these same people to act as though they've been through slavery, right? It takes light away from the true struggle of the African American.
The true struggle of the African American struggle is being taken away because you have people that are coming 30 years ago and they're trying to hijack the whole movement like they were in the cotton fields.
You were not in the cotton fields. You were not a part of that
let's
at all.
Be honest.
Right? We support the African struggle by
100%.
By learning about it, by understanding it, by in any way we
and
can.
And sharing with them the best gift that we can give them. To solve their issues.
But to act like, to try to take the microphone at these protests and to try to, it's very sad. Let the African Americans lead their struggle.
Correct.
Let them come up with the solutions. Let them,
And as Muslims, we're here to fight against oppression. Don't think that we're just against and we love white oppressors and that's wallahi billahi. This is
injustice anywhere.
Injustice anywhere,
is a
right?
Justice everywhere.
So this is a calling for us, but at the same time, we got to be authentic when we come to answer that call. You just can't be coming everywhere and saying that I'm everything, right? And you can't say, "Hey, I belong with these people and I am these people." It may be a sensational argument, but logic just isn't there, right?
You haven't
and one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, La yashhaduna zur. He says about the believers, they don't bear witness to false testimony, right? There's nothing false, more false than that you're even lying about your existence, and what's more important to you in life should be the reason for your existence to begin with.
And one more thing also, sorry, but like we were mentioning, like Somalis, especially Somalis, the diaspora, they, if anything goes wrong, they have a country they can go back to, named Somalia. African Americans this is their country. You get what I'm saying? So for them to act like, oh my goodness, I have nowhere else to go. No, there's literally a country that shares your name, Somalia. Yeah. You get what I'm saying? So don't act like you're this big hero. You're coming to save African. They don't need a hero.
Yeah.
Right. We support them in any way we can, but for a lot of these liberals and young sisters and brothers to act like heroes and leaders, it's very sad.
Yeah.
As we emphasized throughout this whole entire podcast was basically that we're trying to push Islam forward and make sure that people who are going against it, especially Muslim youth, are able to see folks like us who are trying to correct them and put them on the right path. And this trend has been going on so long now, since the rise of the social media era, where people are just saying whatever they want without having to face any consequences. And it's unfortunate, and it's even a street code where you would hear, like, the loudest person in the room is usually the dumbest person. That's where we've gotten to, where the one who doesn't know much usually wants to yell and say the most. And it's unfortunate because social media allows you to become popular and start to trend and start to move around. And that's how it's come to us and it's reached us. And it's very unfortunate. If you speak like this and you say things like this, be ready to be open to criticism and people to reject your point of view and to tell you the truth. And in many cases, like we said, in just the whole point of being logical is when everyone or most people are saying you are wrong, at least be open to realizing that maybe you might be wrong.
Maybe you
Maybe you should actually look deeper and find evidence to support your cause, or else go with the majority, because the majority rules. And that's all I wanted to say, inshallah.
Allah yabarak fikum. Brothers, we ask Allah to guide all of us. Like we said, this is nothing personal. And anything that we say is from the truth. This is from Allah Azza wa Jal. Anything that's from ourselves that's wrong and is incorrect, then if we make any mistakes in misrepresenting, we ask for forgiveness and we apologize. But anything that's from ourselves, misinformation, then that's from us and the shaitan. And وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين. Brothers and sisters, and we're going to have some more conversations about this issue about race. Because I know this, what are Somali people? Are they black? Or are they Somali? So this may be an upcoming future podcast, inshallah ta'ala. Until next time, think about what we're saying. We ask the sister to actually really reflect upon the things that she says and that she believes, because it may determine the outcome of your akhirah.
Right.
And we want everybody to go to Jannah, so we ask everybody to be careful of what they're saying. So before you buy into any of these ideologies, learn your deen, learn your aqidah, learn what you need to believe in Allah, Allah Azza wa Jal, and how you should believe in Him. And we'll leave you guys with that for today. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.